Dear beloved friend, the first light of morning is here, spilling softly across the horizon like a gentle promise the night could not keep hidden. The air is cool and untouched, carrying that sacred stillness only found in these early hours. The streets are quiet, the world is still, and every sound seems softened as if creation itself is pausing to honor this moment. This is the hour when the soul feels closest to heaven, when the heart can hear whispers too easily drowned out by the noise of the day. The dew on the grass catches the new light, each droplet shimmering like a reminder that even what was formed in the darkness can reflect beauty when touched by the sun. Somewhere not far from where you are, someone sits alone at a small table. Their hands wrap around a mug of coffee that has gone cold because their mind is far from the present moment. They stare at the surface of the drink without really seeing it, replaying the same worries over and over. Their chest feels tight from the weight they have carrying perhaps the grief of losing someone they loved, perhaps the shock of a door that slammed shut on a dream they thought was secure. Maybe it is the slow wearing down of hope after too many days of silence in response to their prayers. They have prayed before, sometimes with passion, sometimes through tears, but lately their prayers have felt more like quiet sighs than bold petitions. They wonder if their voice still reaches heaven, if God still sees the pain they hide so well from others. We all know this place. It is the crossroads between what hurts and what we still dare to hope for. It is that fragile threshold where fear tries to convince us to close our hearts, protect what little strength we have left. But here, in the quiet of morning, there is a different invitation. We are given the choice to turn our faces toward the light that is breaking, to let our souls be warmed by the truth that the night is not forever. It is in this gentle beginning that we are reminded there is always a way forward, even if we cannot yet see where the path will lead. This moment is not about pretending the pain is gone. It is not about forcing a smile or reciting the right words to make ourselves feel better. It is about carrying the real weight of our hearts into the presence of God, trusting that no burden is too heavy for Him, no sorrow too deep for His understanding. Faith is not always a shout of victory. Often, it is the quiet, stubborn choice to keep showing up to say yes to God today, even when yesterday felt like a no. It is believing, in the middle of unanswered questions, that our prayers are heard and our lives are held securely. Prayer, at its heart, is not a performance. It is not measured by volume or eloquence. It is a conversation, a safe, sacred meeting between the truest part of who we are and the one who knows us better than we know ourselves. When we speak to Him in the stillness of morning, we are not informing Him of our needs He already knows. We are inviting Him into the center of our thoughts, our fears, and our hopes. We are allowing His presence to steady us before the demands of the day arrive. As you join this time, let your mind begin to slow. Let your spirit lean forward as though listening for a familiar voice. Notice the light creeping further across the sky, reminding you that every dawn is living proof that darkness does not last. Open your heart just a little wider, enough for hope to find its way in. What you are carrying today does not have to be carried alone. There is strength waiting for you, peace ready to settle deep within you, and joy preparing to bloom again quietly. But surely, so come exactly as you are. Bring the pieces you have been trying to hold together, the questions you cannot yet answer, the dreams you are almost afraid to hope for again. Bring the weariness that weighs on your shoulders, and the longing you have kept hidden even from yourself. This is a sacred space, where heaven bends low to meet earth, where even the smallest prayer spoken in faith can become a seed for tomorrow's victory. Here, nothing is wasted, not the tears, not the silence, not even the doubts you wish you did not have. We will walk through this time together, step by step, word by word. You are not here by accident. This moment was written into your story before you woke today. And as we begin, let your heart know deep down that this conversation with God can change the direction of your day, and perhaps even the course of your life. The morning is new, the light is rising, and hope is already on its way. Dear Heavenly Father, in the stillness of this early morning, before the noise of the world rises and the demands of the day press in, I come to you exactly as I am. My heart feels the weight I have been carrying, and I do not want to pretend it is not there. You see the heaviness in my chest, the tiredness in my eyes, the thoughts that swirl and will not let me rest. You know the moments when I have tried to push through, smiling on the outside while inside I am barely holding together. You know the exact shape of my discouragement, the unspoken fears that have built walls inside me, and the quiet ache that keeps me awake in the night. I bring it all to you now. I place every worry and every disappointment into your hands, because I know you can hold what I cannot. You are not far away, watching from a distance. You are here, near enough to feel the tremble of my breath and the racing of my thoughts. You are the safe place where I do not have to hide, where my weakness does not push you away, and where my brokenness does not disqualify me from your love. I think about the moments when the weight felt too much, and yet I kept walking, even if it was only one small step at a time. I remember times when I thought I would break, but somehow I was still standing the next morning. Those were the days when your hand was beneath me, even if I could not see it. Those were the nights when you kept my heart beating in hope, even when my mind was ready to give up. And if you carried me then, I believe you can carry me now. Today, I do not come to offer perfect faith or flawless words. I come with a simple yes in my spirit, a willingness to meet you in this moment. I open the windows of my heart so your light can come in. Let it touch the corners I have kept hidden, the places I am afraid to face. Let your presence fill the silence that discouragement has tried to claim. Let your voice speak louder than the lies that tell me my story is over. You are the lifter of my head when it is bowed down. You are the one who steadies my hands when they are trembling. You are the breath in my lungs when I feel too tired to speak. Remind me that this heaviness is not forever, that the morning always follows the night, and that you are already working in ways I cannot yet see. Teach my heart to trust the process, to believe that every step forward, no matter how small, matters in your plan. I surrender the urge to fix everything on my own. I release the pressure to have all the answers today. I let go of the timeline I have tried to control, and I place my trust in your perfect timing. My part is to show up in your presence, to bring what I have, and to let you do what only you can do, even when my faith feels small. I believe you can grow it, even when my strength feels gone. I believe you can renew it. Right now, in this quiet hour, I choose to believe that you have not forgotten me. I choose to believe that you see me exactly where I am, and that you are not ashamed of my struggle. I choose to believe that you are writing a story bigger than this moment, and that nothing in my life is wasted. I choose to believe that you can take every broken piece and place it into a design more beautiful than I could imagine. Let this morning be the beginning of a deeper trust. Let this moment mark the place where I decided to keep walking, even when the road felt long. Let it be the day I decided not to let discouragement have the last word. I put my hope in you again, not because I feel strong, but because I know you are strong. I put my trust in you again, not because I see the whole path, but because I know you hold my steps. Be close to me today. Whisper to my heart when the noise grows loud. Remind me of your promises when my mind starts to wander into fear. Give me eyes to notice the small signs of your goodness along the way. And when the weight tries to return, help me remember this moment, this choice to bring it all to you, and to trust that you are enough for me. Here in the quiet, I rest in the truth that you are with me. That is enough for me to face what is ahead. That is enough for me to take the next step. That is enough for my heart to breathe again. Lord, as the quiet of this morning continues to wrap around me, I feel the words from before still lingering in my heart. I have given you the weight I could no longer carry alone. Yet there is more beneath the surface feelings I have held back. Memories I have kept locked away because they hurt too much to revisit. I know you see them already, but I also know you invite me to bring them to you freely. Without disguise, without fear of how they might sound. You are not unsettled by the rawness of my heart. You are not shocked by the edges of my pain. You are the one who can take even my unpolished cries and shape them into something that heals instead of destroys. There have been moments when I wanted to shout into the silence, to ask why certain prayers have gone unanswered for so long, to wonder aloud why doors that seemed so right were suddenly closed. There are questions that echo in the corners of my soul questions. I have been too hesitant to say, because I feared they would sound like doubt. But here in your presence, I realize that doubt is not the same as disbelief, and lament is not the same as surrendering to despair. This is where I can pour out every unspoken thing, knowing you will not turn away. You have always welcomed the cries of your people. You have always met us in the tension between grief and trust. You understand the sigh that carries more weight than words, the tear that holds more meaning than any sentence. My heart aches for what was lost, for the seasons that did not unfold the way I had hoped, for the relationships that slipped away before I could make them right. Some of this pain still feels too fresh, like a wound that will bleed again if I touch it. Yet I sense your gentle urging, calling me to place even this into your hands. So I speak it plainly to you. I grieve the moments when I felt unseen. I grieve the plans I thought you had blessed, but that crumbled in my hands. I grieve the times I gave my all, and it still was not enough to keep what I loved. I do not hide these sorrows from you, because I know that only in bringing them into the light can they begin to lose their power over me. I lay them out like pieces on a table, not to dwell in them forever, but to let you decide what to mend, what to change, and what to replace with something better. There is relief in speaking honestly with you. There is release in telling you what has been weighing on my chest without worrying about sounding strong. You are my strength, and I do not have to pretend to be unshakable in front of you. The truth is, I am tired in ways I cannot explain. The truth is, I long for reassurance that this season will not last forever. The truth is, I need your comfort more than I need answers right now. And yet, even here in the middle of my lament, something in me still reaches toward hope. It is quiet, but it is alive. It reminds me that lament is not about giving up, it is about making space for healing. It is about trusting that you can hold both my sorrow and my future at the same time. I do not have to choose between grieving and believing. I can do both in your presence. So, I bring you my words and my silences. I bring you the heaviness I can name, and the I cannot yet describe. I trust you with the parts of my heart that feel too fragile for anyone else to see. I ask you to meet me here, not only to take my pain, but to sit with me in it until I am ready to stand again. I ask you to shape my lament into a song that one day will speak of your faithfulness in ways I cannot yet imagine. Even as the morning light stretches further across the sky, I feel the shift inside me, a small loosening of the knot I have been carrying. The act of telling you the truth has made room for something new to take root. It is not joy yet, not peace yet, but it is the beginning of both. It is the whisper that says, I am not walking this road alone. It is the reminder that my cries are heard and my tears are seen. And with that, I can take the next step forward, trusting that you will turn even my deepest laments into the first notes of a new song. Father, as the quiet truth of my lament still rests in the air, I feel a tender pull toward another step. My heart has been honest about the pain, and in speaking it to you, I have opened a place for something else to enter. That something is the memory of who you have been to me before. I can almost feel your spirit nudging me to look back, not to dwell on what was lost, but to recall the many ways you have proven faithful in the story of my life. I sense that the very same God who walked with me through every past valley is here again, steady as ever, unchanged by my shifting circumstances. I remember seasons that once felt impossible. There were moments when I thought there was no way forward, when the road seemed blocked in every direction, yet somehow I found myself on the other side. I think of the nights when sleep would not come because worry had taken its place, and yet morning arrived with an unexpected peace. I remember the times I cried quietly in my car or in the privacy of an empty room, only to feel a strength rise within me that I knew could not have come from myself. Those were the days you carried me in ways I did not see until much later. I recall answered prayers that I had nearly given up on. There was the friend I thought I had lost forever, who reached out unexpectedly, and reconciliation began. There was the opportunity that came after I had been told there would be no chance, yet somehow the door opened wide. There was the healing slow and steady that unfolded long after I had resigned myself to the idea that nothing would change. These memories are not just pleasant thoughts. They are living proof that you keep your promises and that you are involved in every detail of my life. Even now, as I let these moments come to mind, I feel the weight of discouragement lifting. It is not gone completely, but is no longer the loudest voice. Gratitude begins to speak, reminding me that I have been here before facing fear. Feeling small, wondering if the darkness would ever break, and yet I survived. More than survived, I grew. My faith deepened. My trust in you became less about what I could see and more about who I knew you to be. Lord, you have a history with me. You have woven threads of mercy through every chapter of my life, even in the ones that felt chaotic or broken. You have taken my smallest offerings and turned them into blessings I could never have planned. You have guided me when I was unaware of how close I was to danger, protecting me from things I may never fully know about. And even in my mistakes, you have found ways to bring something good from the ruins. Today, I choose to bring these memories to the front of my mind. I choose to let them anchor me when the present feels uncertain. I choose to let the story of your faithfulness in my past be the foundation for my faith in the present. Because if you were with me then, you will be with me now. If you provided then, you will provide again. If you opened a way before, you can open one once more. Help me to hold on to these reminders when the day grows heavy. When I start to forget, bring these memories back to me like gentle light breaking through clouds. Let them become my evidence against the lies that say nothing will change. Let them speak louder than my fears and softer than my doubts, so that my soul can rest in the truth of who you are. And Lord, I thank you for every single moment you have rescued me, whether through a miracle I could see or through quiet strength that carried me unnoticed. Thank you for the people you sent at just the right time, for the words that found me when I was low, for the peace that settled in without explanation. These are not accidents. They are marks of your care, written in the margins of my life's story. As I step into today, I do so with a heart that remembers. I carry with me the evidence that you have never abandoned me. Not once. I hold the proof that you finish what you start, and that no season has been wasted, and with each memory, I feel the courage to trust you again fully, completely, without holding back. For the God who was faithful yesterday is the same God who walks beside me in this very moment. And that truth is enough for me to face whatever comes. Lord, as I linger in the warmth of remembering your faithfulness, I find myself looking at the story of my life in a different way. The moments I once tried to hide, the seasons I wished could be erased, are beginning to appear less like stains and more like pieces, fragments that still matter. It is as if you are laying them out before me, not to shame me or remind me of failure, but to show me what you can create from what I thought was ruined. I can see that each broken piece has a shape and a place in something far more beautiful than I could have assembled on my own. There were times when I felt shattered, when disappointment hit so hard that it seemed everything I had built came crashing down. In those moments, I wanted to sweep the pieces aside, to start over without ever looking at what was left. But you, God, have never thrown away what is broken. You have never turned your face from the wreckage. Instead, you have bent low to gather the pieces, brushing away the dust, holding them gently in your hands. You see value in what I would have discarded. I imagine you as the master artisan, sitting at a great table with fragments of my life spread before you. Some pieces are jagged, sharp from the way they broke. Others are small and delicate, almost too fragile to touch. Yet you pick each one with purpose, turning it in the light, knowing exactly where it belongs. You do not rush the work. You are patient, arranging and rearranging until every part fits perfectly. You are not bothered by the cracks. They do not lessen the worth. In fact, you let the light shine through them in ways it never could have before. Lord, I confess that I have not always trusted you with my brokenness. I have tried to hide the pieces that felt too shameful or too painful to face. I thought I could protect myself by keeping them out of sight, but I see now that healing does not come from hiding it, comes from placing every piece in your hands. You are not disgusted by the damage. You are drawn to restore, to redeem, to transform. As I picture this mosaic you are making, I realize that my life isn't defined by the moment it broke, but by the artistry of what you are creating from it. Every piece tells a story, the struggles I survived, the lessons I learned, the grace I received when I least deserved it. You are weaving them into a whole that reflects both where I have been and where you are taking me. Help me, Lord, to release my grip on the pieces I still cling to out of fear. Give me the courage to let go of my own designs so that yours can come to life. Teach me to trust that nothing I hand over to you will be wasted, not the failures, not the tears, not even the choices I regret. In your hands, even the most painful fragments can become part of a testimony that speaks hope to someone else. I want to see my life through your eyes. I want to believe that the cracks are not flaws to be hidden, but places where your mercy can shine through. I want to remember that the very parts I am tempted to despise might be the ones you use to touch another heart. If I can trust you to gather every shard, then I can trust you to make something beautiful from them. This morning, I place the pieces before you without holding back. I give you the moments I do not understand, the ones that still make my voice tremble when I speak of them. I give you the unanswered questions, the what-ifs and if-onlys that I have carried for far too long. I give you my whole story, knowing that you are the only one who can see it complete. And as I do, a quiet peace settles in. The mosaic is not finished yet, but I know it is in progress. I may not see the full picture now, but I trust that one day I will, and when I do, I will see not just my life, but the fingerprints of the one who never wasted a single piece. Father, as I think about the mosaic you are shaping from all the pieces of my life, I realize that so many of those fragments came from moments when I was painfully aware of my own weakness. The times when I had no plan, no strength left, no idea how to move forward. Those were the moments when you stepped in and carried what I could not. I see now that the parts of my story I once viewed as proof of failure were actually the very places where your presence became undeniable. I have spent so much of my life trying to appear strong, trying to hold everything together so no one would see the cracks. I have believed the lie that being vulnerable somehow means I am less worthy, less capable, less faithful. But the truth I feel in this moment is different. You do not turn away from my weakness. You meet me in it. You are drawn to it because it is the place where your power can rest most fully. It is where there is no confusion about who deserves the credit for my survival. Lord, you know the times I have reached the end of myself. You know the days when I was running on empty, and yet you still gave me enough strength to get through one more conversation, one more step, one more night. You have been my breath when I had no words, my steadiness when my hands were shaking, my shelter when I could not protect myself. In those moments, I did not feel like a warrior. I felt like a child clinging to the one person I knew would never let go, and that was enough. I am beginning to see that strength is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is quiet endurance, a steady heartbeat in the middle of the storm. Sometimes it is the decision to trust you when nothing feels certain. Sometimes it is simply staying in the fight, even when my energy is almost gone. This is the strength you give, strength that does not depend on my own resources, but flows from your limitless supply. Help me to stop pretending I have to do it all on my own. Teach me to admit when I am weary, not as a sign of defeat, but as an act of trust. Remind me that you never asked me to be unbreakable. You asked me to be honest. You asked me to lean on you, to let you fill the spaces I cannot fill myself. I want to live with that kind of humility, not chasing an image of perfection, but embracing the truth that I am fully loved in my imperfection. I think of how many times I have been surprised by the peace that came when I finally stopped striving, the peace that settled in the moment I stopped saying, "I have got this," and started saying, "Lord, I need you right here, right now." That shift has always been the turning point. It is in those moments of surrender that I have felt the weight lift, not because the situation changed instantly, but because I no longer had to carry it alone. So here I am again, acknowledging what is beyond me. I bring you the fatigue in my body, the questions in my mind, the fears that rise when I imagine what might come next. I bring you the expectations I have placed on myself that are too heavy to bear. I lay them down and ask for the kind of strength that only you can give, the kind that quiets my heart even if the storm still rages, the kind that steadies my steps even if the path ahead is unclear. I believe, Lord, that you are strong enough for both of us, for the part of me that still wants to fight and for the part of me that feels like collapsing. I believe you are able to take my smallest faith and breathe life into it until it grows. I believe that even my limitations are no obstacle to your plans, because you are not limited by what I lack. Today, let my weakness be the place where your presence is most visible. Let it be the reason someone else sees hope when they look at my life. Let it be the reminder that what sustains me is not my own determination, but your constant care. If all I can offer you this morning is my need, then I offer it with an open heart, trusting that you can do more with my weakness than I could ever do with my strength. Father, coming from the place where I laid down the need to look strong. I sense you turning my attention to the language I carry inside. The story I tell myself shapes the road beneath my feet. The sentences I repeat in quiet moments can either weigh me down or lift me into the day you are giving. I do not want my mouth to echo fear or resignation. I want my words to agree with the hope you are planting, to become a path I can actually walk. I admit how easily careless phrases slip out when I am tired. I hear myself mutter that I am stuck, that nothing will change, that I am too late, too small, too far behind. Those lines feel familiar, but they do not lead anywhere worth going. I do not want to be ruled by a soundtrack that keeps me circling the same doubt. If my tongue steers my steps, then teach me to steer with faith. If my voice sets the climate of my heart, let it forecast what your goodness can do. Place a watch at the doorway of my lips. Let it be a gentle guard, not to silence me, but to sift what should be released from what should be left unspoken. Before a word crosses the threshold, help me ask a simple question. Does this lift or does it load? If it burdens the soul, let it fall away. If it carries light and truth, let it move freely. Train my reflexes so that my first response is not complaint, but courage. Let gratitude be quick on my tongue and discouragement slow to rise. I choose to retire some sentences today. I lay down I am stuck and pick up I am learning forward. I set aside nothing ever works for me and take up good work is forming quietly. I release I am on my own and receive I am companioned and held. I trade I missed my chance for you are opening the right time in the right way. I surrender this is who I will always be for you are renewing me day by day. These are not slogans. They are agreements with what you do. Teach me to bless, not only to ask. I bless my mind to think clearly and kindly. I bless my body to carry what today requires with steadiness. I bless my schedule to hold enough room for grace. I bless my conversations to be honest, gentle, and fruitful. I bless my home to be a place of rest and welcome. I bless the work of my hands to serve more than myself. I bless the people I will meet, known and unknown, with patience and goodwill. Let blessing become the language I speak most. When fear tries to narrate the day, help me answer with a better line. Where fear says you are not ready, I will answer I am prepared for the step in front of me. Where fear says you will fail again, I will answer I will grow again. Where fear says you are behind, I will answer I am right on time for what you have entrusted to me. Let my replies be calm and steady, not defiant noise, but settled truth. I ask for wisdom to be brief. Too many words can hide a worried heart, while a few true ones can anchor it. Give me phrases that fit in my pocket and travel well. I will carry today I choose trust. I will carry I can do the next right thing. I will carry there is enough grace for this hour. I will carry I am loved. Therefore I can love. Let these small lines open large doors. Shape the way I speak to myself when no one is listening. Let my inner tone be gentle and firm, the way a good friend would talk to me when I am fragile. Keep me from sarcasm toward my own soul. Replace the habit of accusation with the habit of encouragement. When I make a mistake, let my first words be honest and hopeful. That was real, and I will learn from it. When I meet a limit, Let my sentence end with an invitation. This is where I ask for help. Shape the way I speak to others when the day grows tense. Keep me from talking to win, and teach me to talk to build. Help me choose questions over assumptions, patience over interruption, clarity over sharpness. When a conversation turns hard, set a quiet space between stimulus and reply, a breath wide enough for kindness to enter. Let my words be truthful without being harsh, courageous without being cold, and shape the words I offer you. I do not need impressive language to be heard. I need a true heart. Let my prayers be simple, frequent, and sincere. Let me say thank you often and help me quickly. Let me say here I am and stay with me. Let me say speak and I will listen. Let me say lead and I will follow. In this way, my speech becomes a steady walking with you. I dedicate my tongue to life today. May it call out beauty where others only see routine. May it name progress where I once saw only delay. May it turn complaints into constructive steps. May it refuse rumors and choose silence when silence is kinder. May it apologize without excuses and forgive without keeping score. May it bless those who are absent and honor those who are present. Father, let my language match the daylight you are giving. Let it rise with the sun, clear and warm, practical and hopeful. If my sentences are seeds, let them fall into good soil. If my tone is wind, let it carry the scent of mercy. If my voice is a door, let it open toward peace. And as I speak what is true, let my heart grow into the very words I choose, so that by nightfall, the story my mouth told this morning is the story my life is living. Father, coming from a place where my words have been set in order, I sense you inviting me into something even simpler and deeper. Praise, not for an outcome already seen, but for goodness I trust before any door swings open. The corridor ahead is quiet. The knob has not turned, and yet I choose to lift my voice here. I will let gratitude take the first step, and I will follow it into the day. I remember how waiting used to feel like standing outside in the cold. Today I will bring a warm song with me, even if it is only a few lines, even if they come softly. I will sing them where I am. Praise changes the room long before the entrance clears. It clears a table in my spirit. It makes room for courage to sit down. And it gives my thoughts a place to rest. In this hallway, worship becomes a steady lamp. The light is not blinding. It is enough to see the next square of floor. Lord, you know that I prefer the quick answer, the instant sign, the clear path. You also know that growth often chooses a slower lane. I do not need to be hurried when I am held, so I will wait with a melody under my breath. I will practice a small refrain that I can carry through appointments and errands. When the line is long, I will sing inside. When the email disappoints me, I will sing again. When a plan needs more time, I will choose a kinder pace and keep the song going. Teach me worship that is honest. I do not want to pretend or perform. I want to tell the truth about who you are while I am still unsure about what will happen next. You are wise when I am uncertain. You are steady when I wobble. You are near when I cannot feel much at all. Let every sentence I speak to you today be framed with thanks. Let each exhale release anxiety. Each inhale receive peace. Let my posture match my confession. Shoulders open. Eyes lifted. Spirit attentive. God, I offer you this hallway as if it were a sanctuary. I open its windows in my imagination and let fresh air pass through. I set a chair for hope and ask it to stay. I sweep the floor of complaint. I hang a simple banner that reads welcome. Presence. I lay down the rug of patience so my steps grow quieter. I choose to believe that holy things happen here, not later, not elsewhere, but here, where nothing seems impressive and everything is ordinary. If fatigue returns, I will not scold myself. I will borrow a line of praise from the Psalms and hold it like a handle. If fear rises, I will hum until it has to share the space with faith. If comparison tries to speak, I will let thanksgiving answer first. I will not pretend I enjoy waiting. Yet I will honor the one who meets me in it. The longer I praise, the lighter the room becomes. And the lighter the room becomes, the clearer I hear your quiet guidance. Shape my eyes to notice mercies that are easy to overlook. A call that arrives at the right minute. The strength to try again. The small relief that visits between tasks. The gentle correction that keeps me from an unwise turn. These are hallway gifts. I receive them and I say thank you. I name them so they do not pass without blessing. I record them so I can remember when the afternoon grows crowded. Let my worship be practical. I will praise you as I fold laundry, as I commute, as I stand in a line, as I chop vegetables, as I answer messages. I will use the motions of the day as a rhythm for reverence. When I lift, I will lift thanks. When I put down, I will lay down worry. When I pause, I will listen. When I move, I will move with kindness. Let simple tasks become a liturgy that keeps me close to you. Father, make my voice gentle when I am tempted to be sharp. Make it hopeful when I am tempted to complain. Make it sparse when silence would be wiser. Make it bold when love requires clarity. Let praise guide these choices. Let gratitude train my reactions so that I am not carried away by sudden feelings. Give me the presence of mind to bless before I judge, to wait before I rush, to notice before I assume. I also ask for a song that belongs to this season, not yesterday's chorus, not someone else's favorite, but a line that fits the hallway I am standing in now. Plant it in me and let it grow. I will return to it when I need steadiness. I will share it if it might help another soul keep going. And when the door finally opens, I will carry that song through. Not because the waiting earned the answer, but because worship taught me to travel light and keep my heart awake. Thank you that praise does not depend on my circumstances to be true. It depends on who you are. You are generous even when resources are thin. You are present even when feelings are faint. You are good even when outcomes are blurry. I can anchor to that and not be dragged by the currents of delay. If I must stand here longer, I will stand singing. If I am sent forward, I will step singing. Either way, the melody remains, and with it, the quiet courage to keep trusting you. Father, as the praise I lifted while waiting settles into a steady rhythm inside me, I sense you calling me to keep going with quiet courage. Not rushing. Not forcing. simply continuing. Faith becomes a way of walking when feelings lag behind. Hope becomes movement when I choose the next right thing. I do not need to see far down the road to make faithful use of the ground beneath my feet. I am here for the long work, and I ask you to shape my pace. I admit how quickly I tire when results arrive slowly. My mind wants a finish line, a banner, applause. Yet the life you are forming in me often grows like a line of dawn, almost unnoticeable until the horizon is bright. Teach me to lean into that slow light. Give me patience that is strong without becoming stubborn, and resilience that is soft enough to adjust when wisdom requires a change. Today, I will measure progress differently. I will count the small obediences that no one sees. Will show up for the duties I have been given, not because they are dramatic, but because they are mine. I will tend to what is in front of me, trusting that consistent faithfulness plants unseen roots. Roots do their best work out of sight, yet they are why trees stand when winds rise. When discouragement tries to argue that effort is wasted, answer it in me with a deeper conviction. Remind me that steady practice shapes skill, that gentle persistence heals relationships, that daily prayer clears a path through brambles of fear. I want to be someone who keeps choosing good even when outcomes are delayed, someone who refuses to surrender the field just because fruit is not yet visible. Lord, help me craft a cadence I can sustain. Set a pace that honors both my limits and your call. Let rest be part of the rhythm, not an interruption to it. Teach me to pause before I break, to breathe before I speak, to ask before I assume. Keep me from sprinting in the morning and stumbling by noon. Give me wisdom to build a simple structure for this day that protects what matters most. I place before you 3 steady practices for today. First, I will begin tasks with a brief breath of trust, so that work starts anchored rather than anxious. Second, I will finish what I reasonably can without chasing perfection that steals peace. Third, I will close the day by naming signs of quiet growth, so my mind learns to see what your eyes already notice. Shape these habits until they carry me when motivation thins. There will be moments when progress stalls. In those hours, keep me from dramatizing delay. Let me treat obstacles as signals, not verdicts. Show me where to step sideways, where to wait, and where to try again with a gentler hand. If a door remains closed, open a window of understanding so I learn rather than harden. If the ground feels heavy, lend me a better shovel or a friendly shoulder. God, make perseverance kind. Do not let it turn me into someone hard to live with. Let long obedience produce a softer voice. Cleaner boundaries and a warmer presence. As I continue, keep my humor intact and my humility awake. Let me celebrate others' wins without comparing timelines. Let me give thanks for the tiniest advances in those I love, because celebration waters endurance. Guard me from the myth that everything must happen now. Much of what is beautiful requires seasons. Teach me to honor the season I am in, and to prepare for the one that follows. When I have only a seed, help me clear the soil. When I see a sprout, help me shield it. When a branch appears, help me prune wisely. When harvest finally comes, help me share. I ask for strength that repeats itself, strength to get up again, to write again, to call again, to forgive again, to try again, not as punishment, but as partnership with your steady work. Build in me a resilience that is free of cynicism, a toughness that never forgets tenderness. Let every repetition engrave hope deeper into my character until hope becomes my reflex. And when the day ends without dramatic headlines, remind me that faithfulness was the headline. You walked with me. I kept moving. The unseen roots took hold. The slow light widened. The story advanced by one honest page. Give me the grace to recognize that as success. Give me the courage to return tomorrow with the same quiet resolve, ready to keep hope in motion in the strength you supply. When my energy dips, remind me I do not run alone. Bring mentors, friends, and encouragers beside me, and teach me to ask for help. Let me give the same hand to others. Make perseverance a relay and a marathon, where we pass courage and make finishes shared joy. Father, as perseverance settles in, I sense another invitation. If I am to keep moving without losing heart, let me see from higher ground. Lift me where perspective widens, where I can read the lay of the land instead of staring at my feet. I want to watch, not just work. Let me notice what your hand arranges beyond my tasks, so my steps are guided by wisdom and not by hurry. Bring me to the lookout of the soul. In my mind, I climb a quiet stair and open a door to the roof. Wind meets me there. From this height, the same path looks different. The distance feels measured. I can trace the course of small obediences through ordinary days and see they have been carving a channel. What looked like circles were switchbacks, gaining elevation in patient steps. Lord, teach me to be a careful watcher. Help me distinguish signal from noise, trend from mood, warning from worry. When a shadow passes, let me note its direction instead of surrendering to fear. When an opening appears, let me weigh its cost and timing rather than lunge at it. Train me to ask simple, wise questions and to answer them with prayer and planning. From this watchtower, I remember that people are not obstacles. They carry grace. Show me who needs a check-in, who needs a pause, who needs a yes. Help me rid the weather of a room before I speak, to notice heavy shoulders, a guarded tone, the wary smile that asks for gentleness. Let vigilance never turn me cold. Let it make me kinder. God, refine the map I carry inside. Align my internal north with your heart. If resentment has tilted my compass, straighten it. If old disappointments have stretched distances, correct them where I have drawn borders you did not draw. Erase them where I have left blank spaces out of fear. Invite me to explore. Write truth in the margins so that when I glance down, I read hope. I ask for holy patience with timing. The watchman does not demand the dawn. He notes its approach. Train me to mark early signs of your work, a softened response, an idea that returns, a small door that keeps appearing in conversation. Let me catalog these hints without clutching them, and let me wait without scolding myself. Guard me from false alarms. Do not let anxiety ring the bell that only wisdom should ring. Teach me to set thresholds for my reactions. A single cloud does not mean a storm. A delay is not defeat. A closed path may protect me from a cliff I cannot see. Keep me from shouting warnings where I should adjust my route. From this height, help me bless the low places I once despised. I can see how they held water for future days, how shade preserved tender growth until heat would have ruined it. What I called delay was sometimes shelter. What I named failure was often foundation. Thank you for the mercy of angles I could not see until now. Father, grant me disciplines that keep my view clear. I will set aside moments to review the day, not to perform, but to notice. Where did courage visit? Where did impatience take over? Where did I miss a chance to speak life? Where did I choose well? Let this examen be gentle and specific, like a craftsman checking the line of a beam and correcting it by degrees, not with a hammer swing. Let my posture on the tower remain humble. Watchfulness without humility becomes suspicion. I do not want to police the horizon. I want to serve it. Make me faithful to report what I see to my own heart first. If pride starts writing headlines, bring me down the stairs for a while until gratitude can escort me up again. Lord, widen my intercession from this vantage. Show me neighborhoods, workplaces, and families like a patchwork spread below. I bless homes quiet with worry. I bless leaders making unseen decisions. I bless students carrying secret pressures. I bless caregivers tired in ways few understand. Let my prayers move like small lights turning on across the map. When choices approach, help me frame them in long horizons. Ask me, will this matter in a year? Will it help someone flourish? Let me prefer faithful planting over flashy harvests. Let me pick paths that allow sustainable love. If I must say no, let it be kind. If I can say yes, let it be thoughtful. God, let watchfulness be restful, not rigid. I do not need to scan the horizon with clenched jaw. Teach me to breathe here, to trust that you are watching over me while I watch with you. When clouds roll in, lend me steady hands. When sun breaks out, lend me measured joy. Hold me in the easy dignity of someone learning to see as you see. I step back from the edge and take in the whole scene once more. Roads, rivers, roofs, open fields. The slow drift of morning. Nothing has changed, and yet everything has. Perspective did not erase the work ahead, but it placed each task in a story wide enough for hope. I descend the quiet stair with calmer feet, grateful for the view, and ready to walk the ground with a wiser heart. I carry that calm into the day. Lord, as I leave the high place of perspective and step back onto the path, I know there is something I must carry with me, your promises. They are the compass that holds true even when the weather changes. From the watchtower, I could see how the landscape shifted, but down here the horizon can vanish behind trees, and the road can narrow until it feels like there is no way forward. In those moments, the map in my hand must be the words you have spoken, not the signals my feelings send. You know how quickly I can be swayed by what I see and hear. When good news comes, my confidence swells. When delays or disappointments arrive, my heart begins to sink. This pattern has repeated more times than I want to admit, but I sense you asking me to anchor myself somewhere deeper than shifting conditions. Your word is not a forecast that might change tomorrow. It is a covenant written in your own voice, and it does not expire when the wind changes direction. Teach me, Lord, to keep my eyes on the compass when the scenery tries to dictate my steps. If the day feels gray, remind me that the needle still points to the same true north. If an unexpected turn appears, help me hold my course until you make it clear that this is a path you have chosen for me. When people's opinions swirl like gusts, help me lower my sails and let your steady direction lead me through the noise. I think of times when the circumstances shouted one story, and yet your promise was quietly writing another. There was the season when resources were scarce, but you had already spoken provision over me, and it arrived just in time. There was the relationship that seemed beyond repair, but you had whispered reconciliation, and it bloomed unexpectedly. There was the dream I thought had missed its season, yet you breathed life into it in a way no one could have predicted. The moment I chose to hold on to what you had said, instead of what I could see, was the moment peace returned. God, I ask you to make my grip on your promises strong and steady, not a desperate clutch born of fear, but a confident hold born of trust. Let your words be the weight that keeps me from drifting. When discouragement tries to loosen my hands, place a fresh reminder before me, a scripture in an unexpected place, a phrase in a conversation, a memory of your past faithfulness that tightens my grasp again. I will train my mind to rehearse what you have promised, rather than what I fear might happen. If my thoughts start building a future of worry, interrupt them with truth. Replace "this will never change" with "nothing is impossible" with God. Replace "I am on my own in this" with "the Lord goes before me and will be with me." Replace "I do not have what it takes" with "His strength is made perfect in my weakness." Let these not just be words I say once, but truths I carry like a heartbeat. Sometimes, Lord, the hardest part is that your promises and my circumstances seem to be telling opposite stories. I confess that I have been tempted to believe the louder voice, but I remember that the truest things are not always the most visible. Seeds carry the certainty of growth long before the green appears above the soil. Your word carries the certainty of fulfillment even when every sign around me says otherwise. Help me to live as if the harvest is already on its way, because I know who planted it. Keep me from the trap of interpreting your character through my current situation. If the road is rough, it does not mean you have abandoned me. If the answer has not yet arrived, it does not mean you have changed your mind. Let me measure my reality by who you are, not measure who you are by my reality. You are faithful, unchanging, and completely good. The path I am on may curve and climb, but the destination you have promised is secure. Father, help me to speak your promises out loud, not only in the privacy of prayer, but into the open air of my day. Let them echo in my home, in my car, in the quiet corners of my mind. When fear or doubt tries to set the narrative, I want my own voice to join yours in declaring truth. Let every declaration be like a stone in the foundation I am building, one that will hold under weight and weather. And as I move forward, let my trust in your promises be visible not only in my words, but in my choices. Let it show in the way I wait without bitterness, the way I work without despair, the way I love without holding back, and the way I hope without apology. May those around me see that my direction comes from something higher than the rise and fall of daily events. So I walk on, compass in hand, my eyes lifted toward a horizon I may not yet see, but whose coordinates are fixed in your word. The ground may shift, the sky may change, but the line of your promise runs steady beneath my feet, guiding me forward with quiet certainty. Father, holding on to your promises steadies me, but I know that living them out happens in the ordinary rhythm of my days. The road between what you have spoken and what I will one day see is paved with small choices, those quiet yeses that seem insignificant in the moment, but shape the very story of my life. I am learning that real courage is not always a grand gesture. Sometimes it is simply showing up again, doing the next right thing with a willing heart. You see every decision I make before the day even begins. You know which moments will test my patience, which conversations will require kindness, and which interruptions will invite me to lay down my own plans. Help me to step into each of these moments with a yes that is genuine, not out of obligation but out of trust. I want my yes to be the echo of my belief that you are present here, in the smallest of details. Lord, teach me to value the steady work of faithfulness, the unseen acts of integrity, the quiet prayers whispered in passing, the disciplined return to tasks that no one praises. These are not wasted. They are seeds planted in the soil of my life, and one day they will bear fruit in ways I cannot yet imagine. Remind me that my worth is not measured by how spectacular my efforts look, but by the posture of my heart as I do what is in front of me. I ask for discernment in how I spend my yes. Let it go toward what aligns with your heart, not toward what only feeds my pride or my need for approval. Give me the clarity to say yes to the things that stretch me toward growth, even if they are uncomfortable, and the wisdom to say no when something would pull me away from the purpose you have entrusted to me. There will be days when my yes feels costly, when it means forgiving again, serving without recognition, or continuing to believe when doubt is loud. In those moments, remind me that you see every sacrifice. You are not keeping score to demand repayment. You are weaving my obedience into a bigger story, one that will encourage others to trust you with their own yes. God, I think of the times I almost said no because the task felt too small to matter, but every time I chose to act in love, even in a way no one else noticed, I felt a quiet strength grow in me. Those yeses have built my character more than the moments of applause. They have taught me to live for your approval, not the fleeting praise of people. Let my yes today be rooted in gratitude. Gratitude that I have breath to speak it, hands to work with, a mind to think clearly, and a heart that can still be moved by compassion. Gratitude that I am not walking alone, that you are here to guide each decision and give me strength for what is ahead. I also ask that you help me finish what I begin. A yes loses its power if it fades before the work is done. Give me the endurance to carry commitments through to the end, even when enthusiasm wears thin. Remind me that consistency is its own kind of courage, one that often speaks louder than passion that burns out quickly. If my yes leads me into something new, walk with me through the uncertainty. If it keeps me in a familiar place, help me not to despise the season or take it for granted. If it challenges me beyond what I think I can handle, Remind me that you have already equipped me for every good work you have prepared. Lord, I dedicate this day, yes to you, yes to loving well, yes to listening more than speaking, yes to choosing patience over irritation, yes to working with integrity when no one is watching, yes to holding hope even when results are slow. These are the yeses that shape the person I am becoming and prepare me for the promises you have spoken. As I move through the hours ahead, keep me mindful that every yes builds something, either the kind of life that reflects you or one that serves only myself. I choose the first. Let this choice not be a single moment, but a pattern that deepens with every sunrise. And in each yes, may I find the quiet courage that tells me I am exactly where I am meant to be, doing exactly what you have placed in my hands for today. Father, every yes I offer you flows from the person I believe I am. If I see myself only through the lens of my mistakes, my failures, or the opinions of others, my yes will be hesitant and fragile. But if I see myself the way you see me, chosen, loved, and secure, then my yes will be steady and unshaken. I know that my identity is the soil in which my obedience grows. And today I want to be rooted in the truth of who I am in you. You know how often I have allowed old wounds to name me, words spoken in anger, moments of rejection, seasons where I felt invisible. All of these have tried to shape my sense of worth. I have carried labels that were never meant for me, wearing them like they were part of my skin. Some were given by others, and some I put on myself when I believed I had nothing left to offer. But you have been speaking a different name over me from the beginning, one that no scar can erase. Lord, you call me beloved, not tolerated, not barely enough, not defined by what I have lost. Beloved, this is not a title I earn through perfection or lose through failure. It is a gift that comes from your heart and remains constant no matter the season. You have seen me at my lowest and still called me yours. You have watched me wrestle with doubt, stumble, and weakness, and still you have not withdrawn your love. I confess that sometimes I have worked hard to prove my worth, hoping that accomplishments would silence the voice of insecurity. But the deeper truth is that I was loved before I achieved anything, and I am loved still when I accomplish nothing at all. Your love is not a reward. It is the foundation. When I rest in that, I am free to live without fear of losing it. Help me to believe that my broken pieces are not proof that I am disqualified, but reminders of where your grace has met me. The cracks in my story are not flaws to be hidden. They are places where light can shine through. When shame tries to convince me that I am defined by the worst thing I have done or the hardest thing I have endured, let your truth interrupt and remind me that I am defined by what you have done for me and by the fact that I am yours. God, I want to carry myself today as someone who knows they are beloved. That means walking with a quiet confidence, not arrogance, but assurance. It means speaking to myself with kindness instead of criticism. It means making choices from a place of worth, not desperation. It means extending grace to others, because I live in the overflow of the grace I have received. Teach me to reject every false identity that tries to attach itself to me. I am not my past. I am not my mistakes. I am not my weakness. I am not the sum of other people's opinions. I am your child, created with intention, redeemed with purpose, and held with unshakable love. Let this truth settle so deeply in me that it becomes the filter through which I see the world and my place in it. When I am tempted to compare myself to others, remind me that my value does not increase or decrease based on where I stand next to them. When I feel overlooked, remind me that I am fully seen by you. When I feel inadequate, remind me that you delight in using those who feel small to accomplish things that are far beyond their own ability. Father, let my sense of identity be steady enough to withstand both praise and criticism. Neither the applause nor the disapproval of people should change who I believe I am in you. Keep me from chasing validation that fades, and anchor me in the truth that my worth is already settled. And as I move through this day, let the knowledge of being beloved shape how I treat others. Help me to see them as you see them, not as competitors, not as interruptions, but as fellow image bearers of the same Creator, who loves without measure. Let the security of knowing who I am free me to love without fear, to give without calculating, and to stand without wavering. This is the identity I choose to live from today, not broken beyond repair, but whole in the one who calls me his own, not a shadow of my past, but a living testimony of grace. Not overlooked, but fully known and fully loved. In this truth, I step forward, carrying the quiet strength that comes from knowing I belong to you. Father, flowing from the settled truth that I am beloved, I feel you drawing me out of the narrow room of self-reliance and into the wide place where lives overlap. If I am held by you, I can be held by others without fear. If your love names me, I do not need applause to breathe. Yet you design me to breathe better with others, to share courage when mine runs thin. Teach me to receive that gift with joy now. I confess how easily I drift toward isolation. I tell myself I should not be a burden, that I will come back to community once I am stronger. But strength often returns sooner when I stop pretending I do not need help. Pull me from the corner where silence grows heavy. Seat me where truth is gentle, and laughter loosens worry's grip. Lord, give me companions who love wisdom more than winning, presence more than performance, sincerity more than polish. Let our conversations carry light into closed rooms. Let us trade bravado for honesty and secrecy for intercession. Build between us a trust that can hold questions without rushing to fix. Make our time a small clinic for tired souls. I ask for the humility to ask. Show me how to name what I need without apology, and to welcome support without suspicion. When pride argues that independence is nobler, remind me that even heroes need armor bearers, and even prophets needed friends. Teach me to accept practical help with gratitude, and to offer it in return with quiet respect. God, make me a faithful friend. Keep me from being near but unavailable. Make me attentive to details that matter. A pause before a brave sentence, a shadow crossing a face, the relief in a slow exhale. Give me words that fit and silences that heal. Keep confidence safe with me. Let encouragement be specific, not vague praise. Let challenge be kind, not sharp. Where distance has grown, guide me in repair. Help me own my part without defensiveness, and forgive without keeping a private ledger. If a boundary is needed, let it be clear and calm. If a door should reopen, let it swing on the hinges of patience. Heal misread motives and stories told in half-light. Replace old labels with new understanding. Father, teach us the practice of shared prayer. Let it be simple and frequent. 2 minutes in a doorway, a voice message on a lunch break, a short call before a difficult meeting. As we agree together, let the atmosphere of our spaces shift. Where heaviness sat, let hope take a seat. Where confusion lingered, let clarity enter like fresh air. Weave our gifts like strands in a strong cord. Where I am bold, let another be gentle. Where I analyze, let another imagine. Where I plan, let another persevere. Keep us from envying what we should appreciate. Turn comparison into celebration so that each part strengthens the whole. Protect our circle from the slow leaks that deflate community. Sarcasm that wounds under the mask of humor, gossip disguised as concern, envy posing as critique. Give us the courage to name these things and grace to choose better. Let honor be our ordinary tone. Open our eyes to those at the edge. Show us the person standing alone, at the margin of the room. The neighbor who keeps quiet because they are new. The colleague who hides exhaustion behind competence. Make room for them in our schedules and in our hearts. Teach us to offer welcome without pressure and belonging without price. God, let celebration be our shared language. Help us notice small victories and toast them with thanks. A day without panic, a step toward healing, a hard conversation handled well. Joy multiplies when it is spoken aloud. Let us say the good thing out loud so hope can hear itself and grow when grief visits. Knit our arms like a shelter. Sit with the one who mourns without forcing a timeline. Bring meals, yes, but also presence that does not try to solve what cannot be solved. Let our listening be a harbor where waves can spend themselves without judgment. Form in us rhythms that keep connection alive. A weekly check-in, a simple question that asks, what is heavy and what is bright? A habit of sending a sentence of blessing at the start of the day. These small threads make strong fabric. Over time, they become the net that holds us when we slip. Father, remind me that community is not a project to manage, but a people to love. I will disappoint and be disappointed. Teach me to repair quickly and to resist withdrawing. Keep me curious about stories that are not mine. Let me learn from cultures, ages, and experiences different from my own. Broaden my heart until hospitality feels natural. Make our homes and halls places where awareness loosens, where faith rises, where creativity wakes. Let the way we carry one another become a quiet testimony that points beyond us. And as we share this oxygen of encouragement, let us become the kind of people who help the world breathe a little easier today. Father, as I think about the beauty and strength that come from walking with others, I realize there is something that can quietly choke the flow of that connection: unforgiveness. Even in the closest circles, hurt can happen. Words can be spoken without thought. Actions can cut deeper than intended, and misunderstandings can grow into walls. If I let those walls stand, they block not only my love for others, but also my ability to fully receive yours. I do not want my heart to be a narrow stream where resentment builds a dam. I want it to be a wide river where grace moves freely. You know the times I have held onto offense because releasing it felt like letting the other person win. You know the moments I have replayed the wound in my mind, rehearsing what I wish I had said, feeling my chest tighten each time. You see how heavy that weight becomes. Even when I tell myself it is small, holding on might feel like protection, but it is really a chain. It binds me to the hurt and keeps me from breathing fully. Lord, I remember the relief I have felt in the past when I finally let go, the space it created inside me, the way my shoulders seemed lighter, the quiet peace that returned, not because the wrong was erased, but because I no longer let it define my inner weather. I want that kind of freedom again, here and now. Teach me to forgive as a choice I make for my own soul as much as for the one who hurt me. Help me see forgiveness not as excusing harm, but as removing its power to control me. It is not pretending nothing happened. It is choosing to hand over the right to judge and punish to the one who judges justly. It is saying, this no longer gets to write my story. It is trusting you to handle what I cannot fix and to heal what I cannot reach. God, I place before you the specific names and faces that come to mind right now. Some wounds are fresh and still sting. Others are old but still ache when touched. I choose to release them into your care. Even if my feelings have not caught up to my decision, I will let my will lead the way. I will speak it. I forgive. I may need to speak it again tomorrow and the day after, but I will keep speaking until the roots of bitterness have no soil left. Show me where I also need to ask for forgiveness. Pride wants to keep me safe from that vulnerability, but love asks me to own my part. Give me courage to approach the person I have wronged, to acknowledge my actions without hiding behind explanations, and offer a genuine apology. Let my words be simple, truthful, and free of defense. Whether they accept it or not, let me know I have done my part to clear the path. I ask you to protect my heart from quietly collecting new offenses. Keep short accounts when a small irritation arises. Let me address it with honesty before it has time to grow into bitterness. When someone's words hit a tender place in me, let me pause to ask whether hurt comes from them or from an old wound that needs your healing touch. Father, help me to remember how much I have been forgiven. When I see my own failures in the light of your mercy, it becomes harder to deny that mercy to someone else. Let that memory soften me, even toward those who have shown no sign of change. Forgiveness does not mean trusting someone who is unsafe. It means I refuse to let hatred set up home in my spirit. Let this release be complete enough that I can pray blessing over those who have hurt me, not because I agree with what they did, but because I want my heart to remain uncluttered by revenge. I ask you to meet them where they are, to bring light into their shadows, to do for them what you have done for me. And when forgiveness feels too big to manage all at once, break it into steps. Help me to pray for willingness before I pray for release. Help me to speak truth over my heart, even when my emotions resist. Give me patience with the process, trusting that each time I choose grace, a little more of the dam is removed and the river flows freer. Lord, let the air in my spirit be fresh today. Sweep out resentment as you would open windows to let a new breeze in. If forgiveness is the key, place it in my hand and remind me that I can turn it any time. Let the peace that follows become so familiar that I never want to live without it again. As I move forward, let my heart stay unclogged and my relationships lighter. Let the space once occupied by anger be filled with compassion. Let the energy once spent on replaying the hurt be redirected toward building what lasts. And let the freedom I taste in forgiving become an open invitation for others to do the same. Father, as the quiet work of forgiveness begins to make more room in my heart, I realize that the space you have cleared is not meant to stay empty. It is meant to be filled with something far greater, joy that does not depend on whether life is easy or hard. Joy that can exist even when circumstances do not change, because it is rooted in who you are, not in what is happening around me. This is the kind of joy I want to live in today, the kind that steadies my steps and lifts my spirit, no matter what the day holds. Lord, I confess that I have often confused joy with temporary happiness. Happiness is sweet, but it rises and falls like the tide, easily altered by a word, a look, or an unexpected disappointment. Joy is different. Joy is the deep, quiet current beneath the waves, constant, steady, and untouched by the storms above. It is knowing that even when the world feels unpredictable, you remain faithful. It is the confidence that nothing is wasted in your hands, even the moments that feel like loss. There have been days when joy felt far away, when my heart seemed wrapped in gray clouds and my thoughts leaned toward heaviness. On those days, I found myself waiting for something external to shift before I allowed myself to feel light again. But you have been showing me that joy is not the result of waiting for better weather. It is the choice to look for your light even when the sky is still overcast. It is the practice of finding gratitude in the middle of uncertainty and holding on to hope before I see the breakthrough. God, teach me to anchor my joy in the truth of your promises. Let my mind return to them as often as I breathe, when fear tries to steal my peace. Remind me that you have already written the final chapter, and it ends in victory. When discouragement whispers that my efforts are in vain, remind me that nothing done in love is ever wasted. When loneliness tries to convince me I am unseen, remind me that you know every detail of my life and care for each one. I want to wake each morning with a readiness to notice beauty, even in small things. The way sunlight touches the edge of a leaf, the sound of a bird's song before the world is fully awake, the comfort of a warm cup in my hands. These are small gifts, but they have a way of reminding me that joy is often hiding in plain sight. Help me not to overlook them in my hurry. Let me linger long enough to let them sink in. Fill my words with joy so that my presence becomes a source of encouragement for others. Let my conversations be seasoned with hope, not just when I feel good, but especially when life is challenging. Let my reactions reflect a heart that trusts you enough to remain gentle and kind, even under pressure. In doing so, let the joy you have placed within me ripple outward, touching those who may not even realize they are in need of it. Father, I ask you to protect my joy from being stolen by comparison. It is easy to look at someone else's life and believe they have more reasons to be content, but that is a trap. You have given me a unique path, And joy flourishes when I celebrate the blessings in my own story instead of measuring them against another S. Keep my eyes focused on the work you are doing in me, trusting that it is good, even if it looks different from what I imagined. When trials come, let joy become my quiet act of resistance against despair. Let it be the declaration that my hope is not fragile and my faith is not conditional. Let it be the banner I carry into difficult seasons, not as a denial of pain, but as a reminder that pain is not the whole story. You are still here, still working, still weaving beauty from the threads that seem tangled to me. Lord, help me to practice joy like a discipline, not waiting for it to arrive on its own, but cultivating it daily. Let my prayers be filled not only with requests, but with praise. Let my thoughts be trained to notice the good before they dwell on the bad. Let my steps be guided by gratitude, so that I carry joy with me wherever I go. And when I cannot feel joy in the moment, remind me that it can be borrowed from memory. Help me to recall the times you carried me through valleys and led me into open fields. Let the remembrance of your past faithfulness become a seed for present gladness. Let me hold those memories like lanterns in the dark, lighting the path until the sun rises again. As I move into this day, Father, let joy be my steady companion. Let it soften my tone, brighten my eyes, and give strength to my hands. Let it remind me that even here, even now, there is more to celebrate than to fear. And as I walk in that truth, let my life quietly speak of the goodness of the One who is the true source of joy. Father, as joy begins to take deeper root within me, I see how it naturally flows into something just as essential: peace. This peace is not merely the absence of conflict or the quiet after a storm. It is a steady calm that holds me together even while the winds still blow. It is the quiet assurance that I am safe in your hands no matter what changes around me. And I realize, Lord, that this kind of peace is not something the world can give or take away. It is born from knowing you, from trusting that you are both sovereign and loving, and from resting in the truth that you will never abandon me. This peace, God, is not fragile. It does not shatter at the first sign of trouble. It is like a strong wall built around my heart, guarding it against the anxieties that try to creep in. I have known seasons when my thoughts raced ahead into fear, when I rehearsed every possible outcome until my spirit was weary. But you have shown me a better way: to bring every worry to you before it grows, to trade my restless thoughts for the stillness found in your presence. When I do this, I find that peace does not wait for perfect circumstances. It arrives in the middle of uncertainty. Lord, I want this peace to be more than a passing feeling. I want it to be the atmosphere of my soul. Let it be so deeply anchored in my trust for you that no wave of emotion can overturn it. Help me remember that peace is not the absence of movement. It is the quiet confidence that you are directing my steps, even when the path is not fully visible, when my mind tries to solve what is beyond my control. Remind me to place it back into your capable hands. I think of how the world is filled with noise voices, competing for my attention, demands pressing in, news that can unsettle the heart. Without your peace, it is easy to be pulled in every direction until my spirit feels stretched thin. But when I slow down and turn my thoughts toward you, I find that the noise fades and the truth becomes clearer. You are not in the chaos. You speak in the still, small voice that calms my fears. Teach me to seek that voice above all others, to tune my heart to its steady tone so that it becomes my guiding sound throughout the day. Father, let peace shape the way I speak and act. When I encounter others who are weighed down with burdens, let my words be gentle, my tone patient, and my presence a safe place. Peace is not silent, it has a language, and I want to speak it fluently. In moments of tension, help me to respond with grace rather than react with frustration. In situations where anger rises, let me be the one who diffuses it by carrying a calm spirit. This is not always easy, but I know it is possible when my own heart is at rest in you. Protect my peace from the things that try to steal it: unforgiveness, envy, and the need to control what is not mine to control. Remind me that I do not have to win every argument, prove every point, or defend myself against every misunderstanding. My worth is not determined by human approval, but by your unchanging love. When I remember this, I am free to release offenses quickly and let go of battles that are not mine to fight. Let peace be the companion of my prayers. When I bring my requests before you, let me leave them there instead of picking them up again, in doubt, even if the answer does not come when or how I expect. Help me rest in the truth that you are working behind the scenes in ways I cannot yet see. Peace grows when trust is steady, and I want my trust in you to be unshakable. God, I ask that you would plant this same peace in my home, so that every room feels like a refuge. Let the atmosphere be one where hearts are at ease, where laughter flows freely, and where burdens are lightened simply by being together. Guard my family from the spirit of division, and instead let us be bound together by love and understanding. And when I step outside into the world, let me carry that peace with me, as if it were light in a lantern. May it quietly touch those I pass by, even if we exchange no words. May it soften the hardened, comfort the lonely, and reassure the anxious that there is still safety to be found in a chaotic world. As I walk into this day, Father, let peace guard my heart like a shield and fill my spirit like a gentle stream. Let it remind me that I am held, that I am guided, and that I am never alone. And as it flows through me, let it become something others can feel, something that draws them not to me, but to the one who is the true source of peace. Father, as I rest in the peace you so graciously give, I feel you urging me toward the next step, learning to endure with strength. Peace holds my heart steady, but endurance moves my feet forward. It is the choice to keep walking when the path feels steep, to keep trusting when the answer seems delayed, and to keep believing when circumstances tempt me to doubt. I realize, Lord, that this strength is not drawn from my own reserves, because my human strength has limits. It is drawn from you, the one whose power never fades and whose presence never weakens. There have been seasons when I felt too tired to keep going, when the weight of responsibilities and the heaviness of unanswered prayers made me want to stop. But even in those moments, you whispered courage into my spirit. You reminded me that perseverance is not about rushing toward the finish line. It is about taking one faithful step at a time, even when progress feels invisible. You showed me that endurance is not born from comfort, it grows in the place where I lean into you the most. Lord, I ask for a heart that does not quit when challenges arise. Let me see obstacles not as dead ends, but as opportunities to grow deeper roots. Just as a tree withstands the storm by holding firm to the soil, help me anchor myself in your word so that the winds of discouragement cannot uproot me. When I feel the urge to retreat, remind me of the countless times you have carried me through seasons I thought I would never survive. Teach me to measure my life not by how quickly I arrive at certain goals, but by how faithfully I walk with you through each day. The world tells me that faster is better, but you often work in ways that require patience. Sometimes the delay is not a punishment, but a preparation. It shapes my character, refines my motives, and teaches me to trust that your timing is perfect. Help me to welcome that process instead of resisting it. God, I also know that endurance is not meant to be carried in silence or isolation. You have placed people in my life who can walk beside me, pray for me, and encourage me when my steps grow heavy. Give me the humility to accept help when I need it, and the generosity to offer help when someone else is struggling. Remind me that perseverance is not only an individual strength, but also a shared journey. In the face of trials, let my spirit be marked not by bitterness, but by resilience. When I am pressed on every side, let me remain unshaken in my faith. When others expect me to crumble, let them see instead a quiet determination can only be explained by your sustaining power. May my endurance become a living testimony that you are faithful to those who trust in you. Lord, guard me from the temptation to compare my path with someone else's. Comparison can weaken perseverance by making me believe I should be further along or that my struggles are somehow less valid. You know the pace that is right for me, and you see the unseen battles I face. Let me run my race with my eyes fixed on you alone, confident that the course you have set before me is exactly where I am meant to be. Give me the strength to endure not only in seasons of hardship, but also in seasons of waiting. Waiting can sometimes feel heavier than hardship because it tests the unseen parts of my faith. It demands that I trust your hand when I cannot see your movement. But I know that in the waiting, you are building in me the stamina to hold the blessing once it comes. Father, let my endurance be infused with hope. Without hope, perseverance can feel like a burden, but with hope, it becomes an act of worship. Each step I take in faith is a declaration that I believe in your promises. Even before I see them fulfilled, let that hope shine brightly enough for others to notice, so that they too may find the courage to keep going. As I step into this day, help me remember that perseverance is not about how strong I feel in the moment. It is about staying connected to you, the source of all strength. When I am weary, remind me to pause in your presence and draw from the well that never runs dry. When I am tempted to give up, remind me of the finish line you have promised and the joy that waits on the other side. Let me walk steadily, not in my own power, but in the strength that comes from knowing I am never alone on this journey. Father, as I carry the endurance you have taught me, I sense that you are also calling me to walk boldly into places I have never been. Perseverance has strengthened my steps, But now courage must lead them into unfamiliar paths. It is not always the storms that shake me most. Sometimes it is the uncertainty of what lies ahead. Yet I know that the same hands that carried me through trials will guide me through uncharted territory. Lord, I confess that the unknown has a way of stirring quiet fears in my heart. It whispers questions that I cannot answer and paints shadows over the future I cannot yet see. My mind seeks the comfort of a detailed map, but you often hand me only a compass, your word, your voice, and the assurance that if I follow, I will not be lost. Teach me to trust that the absence of full clarity does not mean the absence of your guidance. When I hesitate at the threshold of something new, let me remember the countless times you have turned uncertainty into blessing. You have taken what seemed impossible and made it not only possible but beautiful. You have turned closed doors into divine redirection and detours into unexpected joy. Remind me that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to move forward despite it, believing that your light will meet me step by step. Give me eyes to see the opportunities that hide in uncertainty. Too often I focus on what I cannot control, and I miss the quiet openings you have placed before me. Show me how to approach each unknown not as a threat, but as an invitation, a chance to see your power in ways I have never seen before. Let my first instinct be to lean on you, not on my limited understanding. God, grant me the courage to release what feels safe when you are calling me into something greater. Sometimes I cling to the familiar because it shields me from risk, but I know that clinging to what is comfortable can also keep me from growth. If holding on means missing the deeper work you want to do in me, give me the strength to let go. Help me step away from the shore and into the deeper waters where faith must anchor my soul. In moments when the unknown feels too heavy, send your peace to steady my heart. Let me breathe in the reminder that you are not only the God of my past and present, but also of my future. There is no chapter ahead that you have not already seen, no challenge waiting that you have not already prepared me to face. My courage does not come from knowing the details, it comes from knowing the one who holds them. Teach me to silence the voices of doubt that try to keep me standing still. Doubt will tell me to wait for perfect conditions, but courage often requires moving while the winds are still strong. Fear will tell me to wait until I have every answer, but faith asks me to take the first step without them. Strengthen my resolve so that I do not mistake hesitation for wisdom when you have already said, go. Lord, let this courage be grounded in humility, not pride. I do not want to walk into new places with the illusion that I can control the outcome. Instead, I want to move forward with an open heart, willing to be shaped, corrected, and redirected as you see fit. Protect me from arrogance that assumes I know the way, and instead keep my ears tuned to your quiet instructions. When I step into the unknown, let my life reflect a calm confidence that inspires others to trust you as well. May they see not a reckless spirit, but a surrendered one, willing to follow wherever you lead. Let my courage spark courage in someone else who is standing at the edge of their own decision. And when the road ahead grows dark, help me remember that darkness cannot hide me from you. Your light does not only shine at the destination it travels with me on the journey. I will not fear what I cannot see, for I know who walks beside me. So I will move forward, one step at a time, into the places where your plans will unfold in ways I could never have imagined. Father, as I continue to follow you into places I have never been, I feel the weight of the distance still ahead. Courage may take the first step, but endurance carries the soul through the countless steps that follow. The path you have set before me is not always quick to travel. Some days feel like a slow climb where the air grows thin, and every movement requires more effort than the last. Yet I know that you are the steady force beneath my feet, the unshakable presence that keeps me from collapsing along the way. Lord, I am learning that the real challenge is not just beginning the journey, but remaining faithful when it stretches longer than I expected. In the early moments, there is a burst of hope and motivation, but as the days turn into weeks, and weeks into seasons, the excitement fades and the reality of the long road settles in. In those moments, I am tempted to question whether I have the strength to keep going. Remind me that my endurance does not depend on my own reserves, but on your endless supply. When fatigue whispers that I have done enough, and discouragement tells me to turn back, let me hear your voice instead, calm, steady, and unwavering, reminding me of the purpose that lies beyond the present struggle. Give me the wisdom to pace myself, to rest in your presence without losing momentum, and to find strength not in frantic striving, but in steady trust. Teach me to embrace the small progress I make each day. Sometimes the distance ahead can feel overwhelming, but when I measure the journey by each faithful step, instead of the miles left to go, my heart finds peace. Let me celebrate the quiet victories, the unseen acts of obedience, and the moments when I choose perseverance over surrender. God, I ask for the strength to endure not only the physical demands of the journey, but also the unseen battles of the heart and mind. There are days when my body feels able, but my thoughts grow heavy with doubt. There are moments when my spirit feels strong, but my emotions wrestle with impatience. Help me to anchor my will in you so that my resolve is not swayed by changing feelings or shifting circumstances. When the journey feels endless, help me lift my eyes to see beyond the immediate horizon. Let me remember that this road is not just about reaching a destination. It is about becoming who you have called me to be along the way. Every step, every challenge, every delay is shaping me for the purpose you have prepared. The long stretches of quiet, where nothing seems to change, are not wasted. They are the deep work of your hand, building resilience that no shortcut could ever create. Remind me that even in the weariness, you are near. When I am too tired to pray with eloquence, let my sighs be heard as worship. When my energy is low, let my faith speak louder than my strength. When my pace slows, let my heart remain aligned with your will, trusting that you are still leading me forward. Lord, strengthen my capacity to endure without resentment. I do not want to carry bitterness toward the hardships of the journey. I want to walk with a spirit that remains open, grateful, and teachable. Let me not grow so focused on the difficulty that I miss the beauty along the way, the moments of kindness, the glimpses of your provision, the unexpected encouragements that remind me I am not alone. And when I reach the points where the road feels too steep, surround me with reminders of your faithfulness. Let the memory of past deliverance fuel my present perseverance. Let the testimonies of others who have endured become a light for my path. Give me a steadfast heart that refuses to give up, even when the finish line is still far from sight. So I will keep moving forward, step by step, knowing that you are not only the God who begins the journey, but the one who sustains it to the end. My strength may rise and fall, but yours remains constant. And because of that, I can walk this long road without fear of collapse, trusting that each step taken in faith brings me closer to the place you have prepared. Father, as I continue along this path you have set before me, I realize how much the endurance I prayed for must be rooted in trust. Without trust, the journey becomes a constant wrestling with doubt. But with trust, even the most uncertain roads hold a quiet peace. Yesterday's strength was built upon your promises, and today I lean on those same promises again. I see now that endurance is not only about pressing forward through difficulty, but also about resting in the assurance that you will finish what you have begun. Lord, there are moments when my eyes see only what is directly in front of me, a tangled forest, a shadowed valley, a path that seems to disappear into the unknown. In those moments, my mind is tempted to question whether the road is still safe, whether the direction is still right. Yet even when I cannot see the full picture, you see beyond every bend. You know the obstacles before I reach them, and you have already prepared the way through. Help me remember that trust does not require complete understanding. It requires complete surrender. God, teach me to walk steadily without rushing ahead in anxiety or lagging behind in fear. Show me the rhythm of moving forward while keeping pace with your will. It is easy to step too fast when excitement rises, or too slow when uncertainty creeps in. But your timing is perfect, and I want my trust to be reflected in my obedience to that timing. I want to be someone who moves not according to impulse, but according to the quiet pull of your spirit. There will be days when nothing seems to change, when prayers remain unanswered in the way I expect, and the wait feels endless. In those seasons, help me resist the urge to take matters into my own hands. Let my trust be active, not passive, choosing to keep walking, choosing to keep believing, even when the signs are scarce. You have never failed me, and I do not believe you will start now. Father, I ask you to guard my heart against the subtle erosion of trust that can come through small disappointments. Sometimes it is not the sudden storms, but the slow drip of unmet expectations that wears down faith. Remind me that you work in ways beyond my understanding, and that every delay, every redirection carries purpose. When I am tempted to think you have forgotten me, whisper again the truth that you are closer than my own breath. Teach me also to release the weight of outcomes into your hands. Trust means letting go of the need to control how everything unfolds. It means believing that your wisdom exceeds my own, and that your goodness will never fail me. Even if the road looks different from what I imagined, I want to be someone who can walk forward with open hands, willing to receive or release according to your will. When challenges rise suddenly, let my first instinct be to run to you, not to panic. When blessings come unexpectedly, let my first instinct be to thank you, not to cling to them in fear of losing them. In every season, whether in abundance or in lack, let my heart remain steady because it is anchored in the unchanging truth of who you are. Lord, I also ask for the grace to encourage others in their own journey of trust. Sometimes my path intersects with those who are weary, those who have lost sight of hope. Let my life be a quiet testimony that trust is possible, even in uncertainty. Let my words be filled with kindness, my actions with faithfulness, and my presence with the peace that comes from knowing you are in control. And when the journey grows long again, when the road ahead blurs into the horizon, let me return to the same truth that has carried me this far. You are faithful. You do not abandon the work of your hands. You do not lead me halfway and leave me stranded. You walk with me in every step. And even when I feel alone, you are guiding me toward a destination shaped by your love. So I will keep walking, not with restless striving, but with a steady, trusting heart, knowing that the one who holds my future also walks beside me in this very moment. Father, as I continue walking in the trust you have been building within me, I sense how deeply it is intertwined with peace. Trust steadies my steps, but peace steadies my heart. Without your peace, even the strongest faith can be shaken by the noise of the world. Yet when your peace rests within me, no storm can uproot the confidence I have in you. It is a peace that does not depend on circumstances, a calm that is not swayed by the rise and fall of the day's events. And I know it is only found in your presence. Lord, there are times when the road ahead is loud with distractions, when the voices of fear, doubt, and worry try to speak louder than your promises. In those moments, my soul longs for the quiet assurance that only you can give. It is not the absence of trouble that brings me peace, but the nearness of your spirit. Even in the midst of chaos, when deadlines press in, when relationships strain, when health falters, I can breathe deeply and know that you are here. Your presence becomes my shelter, my refuge from the constant rush of the world. God, teach me to guard this peace as something precious, something worth protecting from anything that would rob it. Let me recognize quickly when my heart starts to drift into anxiety, when my mind begins to circle around what I cannot control. In those moments, remind me to pause and return to you, to quiet the noise by resting in the truth that you hold all things together. Your hands are steady, and so my heart can be still. This peace you give is not fragile, it is strong. It is not easily broken by a harsh word, a sudden change, or an unexpected challenge. Instead, it stands like a firm wall around my heart, shielding it from fear. It flows like a river, moving gently yet powerfully, refreshing my spirit so I can face the day with clarity and courage. I do not have to strive for it or earn it. I simply have to remain in you, letting your spirit fill every anxious corner of my mind. When my surroundings feel uncertain, I want to choose the posture of peace over the posture of panic. When others rush to find solutions in their own strength, let me be the one who first seeks your wisdom and waits on your timing. Let my life speak of the unshakable calm that comes from trusting in a God who never loses control. Let that calm not only strengthen me, but also serve as a testimony to those who are desperate for the same rest. Father, I know there will be days when my peace is tested, when news comes suddenly, when plans fall apart, when people disappoint me. In those moments, help me remember that peace is not built on perfect conditions, but on perfect confidence in you. The wind may blow and the waters may rise, but if my heart is anchored to you, I will not be moved. This is the kind of peace I desire, the kind that endures in the storm and grows deeper in the waiting. Let this peace overflow from me into every interaction I have today. When others are anxious, let my words be gentle and reassuring. When others are hurried, let my presence be unhurried, reminding them that there is a different way to live, a way grounded in trust and rooted in stillness. May I carry this peace into my workplace, my home, my conversations, and even into moments when I am alone, so that it becomes not just a feeling, but a way of life. And as the day unfolds, whether it brings joy or challenge, help me to return to the center again, and again to that quiet place within where you and I meet, where the noise of the world fades, and where my soul finds rest in knowing that I am held, loved, and guided. This is the peace that cannot be shaken, because it does not come from me. It comes from you. And with that, I can step forward into whatever lies ahead. Father, as I hold on to the peace you have poured into my heart, I see how it naturally flows into joy, a joy that is not shallow or fleeting, but rooted in who you are. Peace calms the waters of my soul, but joy fills them with life. It is not the kind of joy that depends on everything going my way. It is the kind that rises from the deep certainty that you are with me and for me. Even when the day carries its challenges, this joy stands as a quiet song within me, reminding me that I am never without reason to be grateful. Lord, I want to carry this joy into every corner of my day. I want it to be evident in the way I speak, the way I work, and the way I respond to what comes my way. Joy is not just a feeling, it is a choice to look for your goodness, to notice the beauty in the ordinary, to celebrate small victories, and to trust that even in unseen ways, you are weaving blessings into my life. In the still moments, I can feel this joy take root, growing stronger than any frustration, outlasting any disappointment. God, I ask that you guard this joy the same way you guard my peace. Let it not be stolen by impatience or overshadowed by worry. Teach me to rise each morning with a readiness to see the day through eyes of gratitude, to spot the gifts that others may overlook, a kind word, a warm sunrise, a door opened unexpectedly. Let joy not be something I only experience when circumstances align perfectly, but something I choose to live in daily because I know you are my source. There will be moments today when joy will be tested, when the temptation will come to focus on what is missing rather than what is present. In those moments, draw my attention back to you. Remind me that joy is not blind to reality. It simply refuses to let the weight of the world crush the light of hope. It is not naive. It is resilient. It sees the challenges but believes in a greater outcome, because it trusts the one who holds the outcome. I ask that my joy become contagious, When others are weary, let my smile encourage them. When conversations turn heavy, let my words offer a spark of hope. Let people leave my presence feeling lighter, not because life instantly became easier, but because they caught a glimpse of the quiet strength that comes from walking with you. Joy can be a testimony, and I want my life to speak of it without even needing to explain. Father, help me to remember that joy and sorrow can exist together. There will be times when my heart aches, when I grieve losses or face uncertainty. Yet even then, joy can remain like an anchor beneath the waves, holding me steady because it is rooted in you, not in changing circumstances. This kind of joy has depth. It does not vanish in the night. It quietly waits for the morning, knowing that light will break through. I pray that this joy shapes my perspective so that I see each moment as an opportunity. When I wake, I will rejoice in the breath I have been given. When I work, I will rejoice in the skills you have provided. When I encounter difficulties, I will rejoice that they are chances for growth. And when I rest, I will rejoice in the gift of stillness. In every part of my day, let joy be the thread that ties it all together. And as I move forward, let this joy remind me that life with you is never empty, never meaningless, and never without hope. It tells me that even the smallest steps can matter, that even the quietest prayers are heard, and that even in the waiting, there is something to celebrate. With this joy, I can walk steadily, knowing that every path you lead me on has a purpose, and every purpose will reveal its beauty in time. Father, as joy settles into the deepest places of my soul, I feel it naturally give birth to hope that is not fragile or uncertain, but steady, unwavering, and deeply anchored in who you are. This hope is not a distant dream or a vague wish. It is the confident assurance that no matter what I see in the present moment, you are working towards something good. It is the quiet conviction that every promise you have spoken is worth holding on to, even when the path feels long and the answers are not yet visible. Lord, I want this hope to be more than an occasional visitor in my life. I want it to be the atmosphere I breathe in and out each day. Hope changes how I see the world. It keeps my eyes lifted when challenges try to pull them down, and it keeps my steps moving forward when fear whispers that I should stop. It is not a denial of reality, but a declaration that reality is not the final word. You are the final word, and in you, all things are made new. God, there are days when hope feels easy, when the signs of your goodness are all around me. But there are also days when it feels like I am walking through fog, when I cannot see how anything will work out, and the temptation is to let go. In those moments, remind me that hope is not based on my ability to predict the outcome. It is based on your unchanging character. You have been faithful before, and you will be faithful again. You have never abandoned me, and you will not start now. Let this hope be my anchor in the storms, holding me steady when the winds of uncertainty rise. When people around me speak words of fear or discouragement, let hope be the quiet voice inside me that says, "Hold on a little longer." When my own thoughts begin to spiral toward doubt, let hope break through with the memory of all the ways you have carried me. Let it remind me that waiting is not wasted time, it is preparation for what is coming. Father, I ask that my hope be visible, not in an artificial way, but in the way I live, speak, and carry myself. Let it be reflected in how I treat others, offering them encouragement when they cannot see the light themselves. Let them sense, even without explanation, that I believe in a better tomorrow, because I believe in you. And when they ask how I can remain hopeful in difficult times, give me the words to point them to the source of it, all your presence, your promises, and your perfect timing. I know there will be seasons when hope must coexist with pain, when my heart will ache for things I cannot change. But even in those times, I choose not to let go. Hope can live alongside tears. It can stand tall even when the ground shakes. It can keep singing quietly in the background when everything else falls silent. And in those moments, that song becomes more precious, more powerful, because it is no longer fueled by circumstances, but by trust in you. This hope gives me strength to wake up each day with purpose, to keep investing my energy into what matters, to keep showing up for the life you have called me to live. It reminds me that the story is not over. There are still chapters ahead filled with redemption, restoration, and beauty I cannot yet imagine. And as I walk into today, I will carry this hope not only for myself, but for those who are too wary to hold it for themselves. Lord, let my life be a living picture of what it means to hope in you, calm in uncertainty, steadfast in trial, joyful in waiting, and expectant for the new things you will bring. With every sunrise, I will choose to look forward, trusting that the light ahead is worth every step it takes to reach it. Father, as I come to this final stretch of our long morning journey together, my heart overflows with gratitude for the way you have walked beside me through every thought, every reflection, every quiet whisper of truth. From the very first word to this moment, you have been here steady, patient, and full of love. Every breath I have taken during this time has been a reminder that I am held by something greater than myself, and that each day I rise is another chance to live deeply rooted in your grace. Lord, the prayers we have walked through together have been like stepping stones across a river. Each one has carried me from fear to faith, from weariness to strength, from uncertainty to a place where hope stands firm. And now, as I look at the horizon before me, I see how every step mattered. Every word spoken to you was a seed planted in the soil of my heart, and I trust that those seeds will grow in ways I cannot yet see. God, I know this is not an ending, but a continuation. The path ahead is still unfolding, and there will be days when the skies are bright and days when the clouds gather. There will be victories that make me want to sing and trials that test the depth of my trust. But the difference now is that I know I am not walking into any of it alone. I know your voice will guide me when I cannot see, and your strength will carry me when my own runs dry. You have taught me that faith is not built in a single moment, but in the steady returning to you day after day. You have shown me that joy is not fragile, it is anchored deep, and it grows even in storms. You have reminded me that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of your steady hand on my shoulder, and you have breathed into me a hope that refuses to let go, no matter what comes. As I step forward, Lord, I ask that you keep my heart tender to your leading. Let my ears remain open to the gentle nudge of your Spirit. Let my eyes be trained to see glimpses of your goodness in the ordinary moments, sunlight through the trees, the kindness of a stranger, the comfort of a familiar voice. Let my hands be ready to serve, my words ready to encourage, and my life ready to reflect the love I have received. I also pray for those who have walked this journey of prayer alongside me. For every listener, every soul who has leaned in to hear these words, I ask that you meet them right where they are. Wrap them in the assurance that you know their story from beginning to end, and that nothing in their life is hidden from your compassionate gaze. Strengthen their steps, Lord, and let them know that their prayers have weight in heaven. Remind them that they are seen, heard, and loved beyond measure. And now, as we close this chapter, I do not see a door shutting, I see a horizon opening wide. I see the quiet beauty of morning breaking over the land, painting everything in a soft golden glow. I feel the air shift, carrying with it the cool breath of a new day, a day that has never existed before and will never come again. I hear the faint rustle of leaves in the breeze, a reminder that even the smallest movements of life are touched by your hand. To those who have stayed with me to this very moment, thank you. Thank you for walking through these hours of prayer, for allowing these words to become part of your own conversation with God. I invite you to share your thoughts, your prayers, your hopes in the space below, not only to express what is in your heart, but to encourage others who may need to hear your voice. If these prayers have spoken to you, I invite you to be part of continuing this journey. Subscribe to the channel. Share this video with someone who may need a reminder of hope, and commit to holding on to your faith each day. Together, we can keep this light burning so that no one walks through their morning without the warmth of an encouragement and the reminder that they are never alone. And as the sun rises higher and the light spills across the earth, may we each step into the day with steady hearts, carrying with us the quiet strength of knowing we are held. May the gentle wind brush against our faces. May the golden light fall softly on our path, and may the sound of living water somewhere in the distance remind us that grace never stops flowing.